Hello, how are you YouTube friends? Today I want to share my experience when I traveled to Manizales and what I loved about Paisa culture. On a beautiful day like a Wednesday, when I was on vacation in July, a friend woke me up with this call at around 10 o'clock in the morning to accompany him to Manizales. It was an unplanned ride, quite interesting. Immediately, I agreed and we were to meet at the Texaco gas station on Cali-Palmira Road at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Just after saying goodbye to my father who had come to visit me, I went to calibrate the tires near my house, where another motorcyclist crashed me on the side when trying to overtake me, causing my motorcycle to fall and break my mirror. I came out unharmed without falling to the asphalt. I had not seen this man nor in the rear view mirrors, which had taken me by surprise. Anyone in my place would have been mad at him and had an argument with the man. But I was in a hurry, and seeing that the damage was only from the mirror, I decided to leave things like that, go to calibrate the tires and go quickly to downtown to buy new mirrors. I wanted it that way because they are very cheap and I did not want to waste any more time. My friend who invited me to Manizales and to whom I say El Mono had been waiting for me for an hour. The poor thing was bored to wait for me in a tremendous sun of almost noon, until finally I arrived at 3 o'clock in the middle of everything that had happened. We started our trip. I am always a lover of roads, a good weather, the warning signs that warn us every kilometer, and the refractive lines that decorate the sacred asphalt that makes me fly as if I were on a runway. I am always willing to ride at 90 or 100 kilometers per hour along the freeway that runs through my Valle del Cauca. However, security and prudence always go hand in hand, something that we saw shining by its absence in a semi-trailer that overturned into a return.
Atención para que ustedes sean prudentes a la hora de conducir, tengan mucho cuidado.
Something that I admired a lot in the advance of Colombian infrastructure is the roads between Valle del Cauca, Risaralda and Caldas. They are one of the safest roads even at night, as they are well signposted and designed. When approaching the city of Pereira from Cali, there are speed reducers which must be taken into account so they do not take you aback when traveling fast. On the other hand, it is beautiful to admire the landscape when leaving Cartago and when leaving the Pereira detour and entering the circular bridge that meanders in the hills of the central mountain range of the Coffee Axis. But what is better, in my opinion, is the Coffee Freeway, which connects Pereira with Manizales, since it is full of delicious curves that allow you to travel at a good speed, around 70 kilometers per hour on average when going up. The only thing to keep in mind is that between Santa Rosa de Cabal and Chinchina, the roads are reduced to two-lane back road and the volume of traffic increases, but it's not as high as La Linea Road, a two-lane highway that connects Armenia with Ibagué. My friend El Mono was happier than a child breaking a piñata, so we took pictures in the most interesting places according to our opinion. For me, imposing bridges like the Cable State Bridge in Pereira or the Istanbul Viaduct are provocative for photo shoots. When we arrived at our destination, the house of Mono's grandmother, the welcoming was great. This Paisa family included me and made me feel at home, with a special humor that made me laugh out loud, to burst my lungs with excessive joy and his grandfather's jokes and other relatives. Therefore, one of the things I liked most about this culture is its way of being. They are very active, aware of how one is. As an anecdote, in the room we were given to spend the night with El Mono, we had a mat on the floor and a bed. For decency and respect, I preferred to sleep on the mat despite the fact that El Mono insisted that I slept in the bed and he on the floor. The next day, Grandma scolded him because I slept on the mat and not on the bed. Poor Mono. I died laughing, but this showed me the great interest of them in making me feel good and comfortable. On the other hand, I met her aunt, as charismatic as she was, with a sense of humor and a charm of Paisa woman.
Hable pues señorita, solo de la cámara. Yo Mono, está relajado, contento.
No, eso era una fábrica que se llamaba La Única. Y cerró hace rato.
Eso está brutal.
Pero ya, pues para acá.
Las palabras para la cámara, pero.
No, pues Manizales lo mejor mío.
Gráme. Ave María, pues hombre, yo soy caleño, pero también puedo imitar el paisa.
She accompanied us From the night we arrived until the next day, knowing the city from the viewpoint Cerro de Oro and Chipre, as well as the Basilica Nuestra Señora del Rosario Cathedral, the State Governance Hall of Caldas, the Bolivar Square, and the cable car that runs to the municipality of Villa Maria. From this aerial cable, we could feel the voltage that Mrs. Gloria had in the Metrocable of Medellin, but we enjoyed admiring the cold and cloudy landscape typical in the city very much. As a good Colombian, I am a fan of coffee, and I was able to enjoy a delicious coffee drink as well as coffee sweet milk in the center of the city. On the other hand, when walking its streets, I found a souvenir that identified me very much. In a place where you buy everything you see for 5,000 pesos, although I don't remember the address. Being in Manizales is like being in a paved coffee plantation. The rain is a frequent part of the coffee landscape of the city, which added to the temperature, feels a delicious cold that caresses every area of the body almost at the same level as the capital of our country, Bogota. In addition, Manizales is a city that shines for its neatness and cleanliness. That means that these paisas are quite ordered and careful with their surroundings. Seriously, congratulations, because I know that you have to feel proud of your city. Another thing that caught my attention is that this city is full of tunnels and bridges everywhere, besides having winding streets and avenues that embrace each of the ridges of the hills of the mountain range and the plateau where a large part of this city is located. Finally, our joy did not last long because the day after we arrived, that is on Thursday, we had to leave. So we left at 5 in the afternoon. Back, I longed to take a picture on the viaduct in La Istanbul for a long time since the 2 times I went there previously when I was going to Santa Marta a year ago. We stopped there and tried different shots until we found the perfect ones. Then we continued to Pereira without going through the detour to take the picture on Dos Quebradas viaduct. To take the road back to Cali, I was stubborn and adventurous. I decided to do it by the same route in the north-south direction, and we had to endure a traffic jam that went slower than a turtle with crutches. El Mono hated me at that moment. When we managed to get out of there, we took back the detour and continued until we passed the toll road near Cartago, after having fallen a dark night, which warned us of an imminent rainfall. I walked at a constant speed while El Mono was lost little by little among the drops that botched the asphalt, forming a kind of a temporary haze. And its light was lost between the curves of the double carriageway. In the end, I worried and I stopped to wait for him. But after half an hour, he did not arrive, and I gave myself to think that he had already surpassed me and I had not realized. As I continued my journey, a little further on, near Andalusia, a person with a lot of character, a reckless character on his motorcycle, made the return from the left side of the road without looking at what I was after. Not even the whistle on my bike or the highlights of it were enough to warn him that I was approaching by leaps and bounds. And as an emergency, I switched to the right lane to avoid colliding with him, but the man, recklessly still, gets into that lane as well. Like Jose's, we crash because we crash. Thanks to Jehovah, I braked with both wheels in such a way that the front tire does not get stuck. However, the rear one did and started to dance like an intense perreo. Luckily, I did not lose control and managed to reintegrate into the left lane, avoiding a collision. But in my face, you could see an image of intense indignation and rage. I stopped in Andalusia to reflect on what happened, and for unexpected things, El Mono reappeared. The rain had always distanced us a lot, but luckily we arrived in Cali, safe and sound, together again. You cannot miss this opportunity to visit Manizales by road. If you liked this video, like it and subscribe. On the other hand, I have a second channel about reflections of life for you to subscribe, if it catches your attention. I will leave the link in the description. I hope you are well, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.